one place that I would definitely recommend for lunch or for dinner. Now, I want to show you one place which majority of tourists, they just completely miss it because they don't know what's going on up there. And on a nice day like today, this place is called Skyscraper because in 1933 when it was built, it was the 9th tallest building in Europe, and also in Ljubljana, in this territory, the tallest. But the real reason why I'm showing it to you is because on the 12th floor there is a cafe and there is an outside terrace, and from there on a nice day like today you will see nearby hills, distant mountains, because Ljubljana is right in the heart of Ljubljana's basin, and the place will give you the second best panoramic view of the city day and night. Second best panoramic view of the city because place is open from 9 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock at night. And this you saw yesterday the castle style. Look what that's what Santa Claus brought us.
Look at that.
Oh, have a look at that vehicle. You see that green and white one? If you get lost or you get cold, or if you just don't want to walk, when you see that vehicle passing, there are a couple of them, they're circulating around the pedestrian area. And you see, just when you stop in front of you, you just say Hotel Swan, because Hotel Swan is inside the pedestrian area. They will take you there completely free of charge, and everybody's telling me the drivers are exceptionally friendly. So, and they circulate around the town, around this pedestrian area from 6 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock in the evening. So basically all day long. And it's not meant just for us locals, it's also for everybody. No, if you need it here. And also, my father always had an option, and nevertheless he had quite a good job. And we had a car, we had our summer house, so we were living in a poor socialist country, but we weren't dying because of hunger or something like that. I don't know what you heard about that, but that was not the case. And it's a really beautiful Franciscan church. Can I have one of your maps, please? Just to show you. Nobody has a map on.
Yeah, it's just a matter of taking it out of here.
Okay, I have it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So here, right now, just that you know, red number 4 is this orientation point. Franciscan church can be seen from various points of the city. Whenever you see it, you know that you have to take this street uphill, and a couple of minutes you're back to the hotel. One thing that I would like to point out, in Ljubljana you really cannot get lost, because this is a 5-minute, 10-minute and 15-minute circles of walking distance. So this is not New York, this is not, I don't know, LA. Just to make something really clear, I will do our city tour in that manner that we will make a circle and we will finish it here. So you will get your bearings, and after that we will just split. They have lunch menus. Last time I was here, I paid 14 euros for the soup, main dish and a dessert, but we're talking about top-notch restaurant. And Ljubljana is only 65 miles from seacoast, so fresh fish is brought from our sea on daily basis for this kind of restaurant. So, and it doesn't matter if you go for a fish or meat, because traditionally we are huge meat lovers. They know how to prepare everything. Waiters are knowledgeable guys, and they speak fluent English, so they can explain you everything that you want to know about the dish, and they have an extensive wine list. So to repeat, on the left hand side a place for beer lovers, on the opposite side a place for food and wine lovers. But in Slovenia one thing doesn't do the other.
Do you need a reservation for the
Except
restaurant?
Friday evening, you don't need a reservation. You just show up here and watch out for. Oh, here you can see Cavalier up close. I have been traveling a lot. I haven't seen a service, city service like this one, and completely free of charge.
Well, I'm just hoping that.
Public garbage bins.
Recycle.
Yellow for plastic packaging, blue for paper, black for everything. Sometimes instead of black is brown, which is organic. But this black means the rest of the garbage.
Food and stuff.
So everybody recycles.
Everybody recycle. Here we right now we recycle approximately 65% of our trash. Our long-term plan is 90%, but we know that we're not going to make it if we don't start educating our children.
Right.
According to that. So we educate our children at the age of 3 or 4. They already know with their eyes closed that green is for glass, blue is for paper, brown is for organic. So, and for our children at the age of 4, if they have an envelope of candy or chocolate and they don't know where to throw it, it's for them it's not hard to cross the street and just for that purpose to throw it in the bin. So we educate them in that manner. So hopefully one day we will arrive and at 90 or 95%. And on the outskirts of the city we have a really big recycling plant where we recycle all that. And the whole point of our recycling is not just that we recycle it and then sell it, or no, and send it to Chinese, or I don't know. Here we reuse it because that's the whole point of recycle, reuse as well. So we do that.
Do you have
Plastics here, plastics.
Plastics. And on the left and right hand side is what's left of the really big Ursuline convent. But the thing is, those ladies in our national conscience, they're still really important because since 1726 they were the first ones who founded schools for young girls, and they didn't teach them just how to sew or how to cook. They actually taught them how to read and write, and that was something completely without a precedence on this territory. Then of course in 1945, when communists came to power, they shut down their schools because religion and communism are not compatible. And in the back they had a really beautiful and a really big Ursuline's garden, but communists needed a place to build that big monstrosity in the back, and they destroyed their beautiful garden, and now there is a bank inside and we cannot get rid of that. That's a perfect example of socialist functionalism. That's actually a style in architecture. They were just into more than into the beauty, the functionalism. So for that. The church here, St. Trinity, the Ursuline church, is quite beautiful one, but it's actually more interesting from the outside because it's actually the most unusual Baroque church in Ljubljana. Now let me take you to this building. As you can see on the top it has a year 1701. Because on this spot it was founded one of the oldest philharmonic societies in the world, outside Italy, of course. In Italy they were the first ones, but because of this building, Ljubljana, with a population of just 288,000, we have 3 professional philharmonic orchestras. I know cities in Europe with a population of 1 million and they don't have 3 professional philharmonic orchestras. So this building is also really, really special for us. What I want to say is the seat of university. You will see a lot of young people going back and forth in Ljubljana because why? We don't have a centralized campus or centralized student dorms, so we have 23 departments and 3 academies. They are dispersed all over the city. So for that reason, you know, a lot of people already ask me, wow, Robert, Ljubljana looks like a really young city, you know, which is partially true, but besides the population of 288,000, we have every year between 40 and 50,000 students who come from all over Slovenia. And in those 23 departments, we have also 500 classes for English-speaking students. So foreigners are welcome. The education is free for them as well, as for all of us. One of our really smart politicians a couple of years ago wanted to introduce payable education, and people went to streets protesting, saying, you were studying for free, now you want to charge that to people, and in like 2 or 3 days that politician changed his mind.
So, I've got a question for you. You're talking about free education and free medical care. What are your taxes like?
Taxes are from 19 till 43%.
Depending on what your income is.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of years ago, I was doing one project for one French company, and I actually did an alternative guide to Ljubljana. I wrote everything that they published it in a digital form for phones, and once I got all the bills and with an invoice for them, my government decided they would take off 43% of my provision for my income, and I was like, what? And they said, oh, that's too artistic or whatever. Anyway, yeah, but usually they're between 20 and 35%. So, but here nobody's trying to evade paying taxes, because for taxes that we are paying, we get free education, we get clean city, we get a city where you can walk around at any time of the day. There is no
crime.
No, nobody will point the gun to your forehead saying, give me all your money. Here, the only problem that we have are those pickpockets who are imported ones. They're not Slovenians, and they don't even speak Slovenian, and they're women. Like, there are always like 3 or 4 of them in the group. So if you see somebody that you don't know and coming too close to you, just say, could you please go away, and they will do that, because
I guess if everybody's paying taxes, it's all a good thing.
No, everybody's paying taxes. That's the thing. You go to school, you study, then you get your degree, and then you get a work, you get a job, and then only then you can get a loan. It doesn't work anyway around like in the United States, where students already have 100,000 of student loan. That doesn't exist here. And then Michael does an interview with 2 American students. One is studying at here we call them Faculty of Economy, and she explains that before finding out that she didn't know nothing about Slovenia or Ljubljana especially, but when she found out there is no tuition here, she came here, she applied to the department that she wanted to. The only thing she paid was the administrative fee, to get in, which was like around 250 euros, and that was it, So, and the only expenses she had was apartment and the food, and that was it. So. Wow. This is how it works.
And how many students in this?
Between 40 and 50,000 students. Foreign students are between 2,000 to 2,500. So there are people coming because we know. I told you, there is no lift there. You have to walk all the way to the top. Once you're at the top, yes, you will get the best panoramic view of the city, but no coffee, no cakes, no nothing. But inside of the castle, there is a restaurant, there is a cafe, and I have a good news. We have a modern funicular.
Look at these flowers in that little.
Yeah, it's amazing though.
They're so light. The ornaments are so light in the center.
The only one in Ljubljana. But you know what happened? We all know what's happened during the Second World War here. So Nazis, we were occupied first by fascists and then by Nazis. And then we all know what they were doing across Europe. So but the thing is, also those Jews who survived concentration camps, when they came back, they weren't treated better by communists as well. I mean, the thing is, communists weren't killing them, but they were taking the property. Here we had the process of nationalization. That meant if you were a wealthy man or if you had good property, it would be taken from you to give it to the people. You know? And right now, the Jewish community is around 300-400. It's a really small one. And the only thing that they have is a Jewish cultural center, which is like less than half a mile from here. But the thing is, in order to visit them, to visit Jewish Cultural Center, there is a museum there. You have to look for them on the internet and call them in advance because they're not there all day long. I did that once. They showed me around. They were extremely friendly, and they explained me everything. They explained me that the Jewish rabbi comes only from Trieste, which is in Italy, for the biggest Jewish holidays. That's it. Then they don't have a proper Jewish kosher food shops. They order food on the internet, and that's it, you know, because there is really not a lot of stuff. But other than that, Slovenia is religiously speaking really open society. I mean, during the summer we still have Hare Krishnas dancing on the street. Then, like I was baptized in Franciscan church, 60% of Slovenians are Roman Catholics, 2.5% of Slovenians are Muslims, and then 2.5% are Orthodox Christians. That would be Serbians, primarily Serbians. Around 1%, only 1% of Protestants, and now listen to this, more than 30% of Slovenians are complete atheists, you know, and that's also a remnant from socialist past, and also it's due to the higher level of educated people. You know how they say, the more educated you get, you don't believe in anything, you know, except. As you can see, even from here, you can see the Franciscan church. So you really cannot get out. You would just follow the river and you would arrive back to the city center. Now, almost everybody is going to Postojna Cave, right? Except you and Cindy, right? The two of you are not going. Now I want to tell you something interesting that I'm pretty sure you don't have. In Slovenia, first of all, I want to hear you how you pronounce the city's name.
Ljubljana.
Oh, what? Have you been practicing?
No.
That's really good. I mean, last time, Ljubljana. Yeah. No, because once when I asked one group, one lady, she said Uganda. I know she
sounds like Uganda.
when you say it, it sounds like
what is it?
She told me the same thing, but somewhere when I say Ljubljana, she hears Uganda.
You just
so.
said it again?
Ljubljana.
Yeah.
So, just that you know, the river is called Ljubljanica, which is similar to Ljubljana. But the thing is, we also call it the river of seven names. Why is that? Because big part of Slovenian surface is karst surface, which means it's made of limestone. And limestone is a really porous material which doesn't hold water. So what happens to our rivers? They flow on the surface, all of a sudden they disappear, they go underground, they flow underground, and they carve out while they're flowing underground, they carve out some caves. Tomorrow you will see one, the most beautiful one, Postojna Cave. And then they reappear on the surface on some completely different spot. And that happened with this river 7 times. In the old times, they didn't know that, that's always the same river. So they named 7 parts of the same river with 7 different names. Today everybody knows that's always the same river. So Ljubljanica river. Right. Since I know that you're on vacation, I promise I will keep the names to the minimum, but there are 2 names that you really have to remember. One is Jože Plecnik, who is our greatest architect, Jože Plecnik. He is the guy who built this bridge. He called the river in the canal. You know, I lived in Rome, so I know that in Rome they have Gian Lorenzo Bernini. I lived in Spain, I know that in Barcelona they have Antonio Gaudí. Here we have Jože Plecnik, who is just in 35 years, he completely reshaped the face of the city. I will show you also the covered market, and the triple bridge, which is on the central square. So really, he made a lot of changes to the city. And now, would you like to warm yourselves a little bit?
Why not?
Why not? Okay. That's just that you know, this bridge, nevertheless, it's not named after Joseph Plecnik, it's named after the cobblers, because in medieval times, when there was still a wooden bridge here, cobblers would used to live and do their trade in their wooden boots on the bridge. So after that, it's still named Cobbler's Bridge. And when you would cross the Cobbler's Bridge, you would enter the oldest part of Ljubljana. Near shop in the city.
Oh, really? Okay.
But it has something special. So
Oh, looks like it's liquid.
it is. I told you, you came here to warm us up. Right. What do we have here?
First, we have here a welcome drink for you. Yeah. So here is the most typical is blueberry liquor and fig liquor for starter, and then we could go.
Further on. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
step one.
Please, you could try both. Yeah.
They're really tasty and really sweet. The only problem is they have only 20% of alcohol. So that's
Yes. Go. Yeah. They could. Yeah. Blueberry and fig. Yeah.
Okay. Blueberry and what?
Blueberry is a red one, fig is a yellow one.
The yellow one? Oh, so up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have chocolates,
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
and cookies.
Na zdravje. Ne?
Na zdravje.
You forget.
Zdravje.
Yeah.
No, Anne.
Ginger, go ginger.
You must have been very healthy.
I'm Ginger.
Yes, can you see us?
Me?
I love ginger.
Ginger is with the lemon. It's really nice. Yeah.
Very good. I love ginger beer.
Oh yeah, we don't have ginger beer. Yes, they do.
You don't smell the
Yeah,
whiskey?
yeah.
It's not really clear.
That's just in
I know. When I go on those intercontinental flights,
Who is,
on the plane, I also
wants
order
honey.
yeah, ginger ale.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Right.
Honey?
You don't like it?
Honey?
Okay, is it too strong for you?
No.
We could go to more strong.
I'll try honey.
Oh,
Yeah? Here.
What the heck?
Yeah.
all right.
You only live.
on the wild side.
You only live once, right?
Yes.
Then you will not feel cold outside. Yeah.
Oh, good.
And as you can see in the back, there are small bottles and bigger bottles. Do you call those small bottles
Liquor.
nips?
Yeah. Okay.
I heard that expression from some
Nips?
Maybe
Nips.
British. I never heard.
Okay.
That's British.
Then it's apparently it's used in only some part of the United States.
Would you usually drink this aperitif before a meal?
We are drinking all the time.
All the time.
Mint, yes.
We have always the reason to drink.
Is that a vodka?
This is plum schnapps.
Plum.
Šljivovica.
Yeah.
Plum
Anybody
schnapps?
wants to try?
Oh no no! Oh,
It's a little bit
sorry,
more.
lady. We still have a lot of walking to do. They're gonna get completely drunk.
But then you don't walk, you float.
Okay, but this
But-
is just
We go from
Oh, this is just, okay, just one.
You can have one too then, see?
try. Yeah.
See, you have one, then you'll walk slower too.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have grappa?
Grappa, yes, also.
I don't want to taste of it, but we
have.
have to come back and
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Huh?
our son.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here it's 100% true drop of the nature.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Aaron, what do you think about
When you
it?
say you have grappa, is that grappa from Italy? Or do you make it
Grappa
from
is we are doing also here because we have
Good.
wine regions.
I know.
Okay.
So here is grappa from Charga. This
Okay.
is this part here, Slovenian side, near the Italy.
Okay.
No? He's doing also the wines and making also this.
Sorry, do you have any cards? So they will...
You have a card for your store? So
Yes, of course.
In 5 minutes, you can enjoy the house. But here, this place, Valvasor, it's a little bit of upscale restaurant. Then there is Julia, and after Julia, this is the third place which is named Mari and Me. The third one, this is the movie. Well, apparently the owners as well, they named the restaurant after the movie. But nevertheless, all three of them, they serve really, really good. And except on Friday evening, you don't have to make a reservation, you just show up and it's always. But really, all three of them are serving top-notch food. And now I'm taking you towards the town square. Where is our city? This is a salt shop, and on the Slovenian coast we have salt pass, where for more than 650 years they are producing sea salt. And here you can buy a really good Slovenian sea salt, which is the best salt in the world, which is called Flor de Sol. That's an international expression for the sea salt. And lately they started doing dark chocolate with sea salt, and it's really top notch. When you place it on your tongue, when it starts to melt, you feel the dark chocolate and then you feel the sea salt, but that sea salt is not too aggressive, too invasive, so it's a perfect balance. Let's get into it.
So the salt is dried then, and it just...
They have pools, they let the sea inside, then they're not deep, you know. So the water starts to evaporate,
Okay.
and there is a really thin layer of sea salt, and that's what it's completely natural. They're not using any chemicals or whatever, because you know in salt mines, salt has to be refined and bleached. This is not the case. The color of the salt is this one. That's the original color that it comes from salt pans, you know.
what's the difference between these three? Yeah, they get
Yeah.
more expensive.
This is the salt which you use for cooking, and this one here is used for after cooking and salads and
Seasoning.
Okay.
Yes, it's a salt flour. It's so precious salt because when the salt is made, it's the first layer of the salt. It is so tiny that they have to have special conditions to be made. There have to be a lot of sunny days, no wind, no rain. So yes, it's smaller, but it's not so. It doesn't have so intense flavor like this one here.
Okay. Thank you.
You can try it here. I have.
Yeah.
Here.
Now we got it.
It's even salt flour of this one here.
Very nice.
Yes.
Another
So do you use this for your Hungarian goulash when you
Yes, I use
or Slovenian goulash? Sorry, sorry,
I don't want to hear that ever again.
it's Slovenian goulash.
Shall we? The patron saint, first of all, that's the city's flag, green, white, and with the coat of arms. You can see the coat of arms here, the castle, and the dragon at the top of the castle. Why do you think we have a dragon for a symbol of the city? Good one. No, the answer is really simple. Because of St. George. St. George is the patron saint of the city because at the castle there is a chapel dedicated to St. George from 1489. This palace, City Hall, is from 1848. Ground floor is completely free of charge. So if you want to see inside, there is a really beautiful medieval courtyard. And that this banner here on this side, it says Ljubljana, the winner 2016 Green Capital of Europe. Because in 2016 we were awarded with the title Green Capital of Europe because of all our solutions for our everyday problems, and 70% of Ljubljana is just parks, green areas. You know, right now we are in the oldest part of the city, so here there aren't many, but you will see from the skyscraper, from that first place, from the 12th floor, from the terrace, you will see that even apartment blocks they have in the middle, they have trees. And food, and here they serve the mushroom soup in the bread bowl. It's to die for, really. And then, I mean, just that mushroom soup, it's a meal itself, you know.
We ate here last time. We're coming back
Oh,
here.
you're coming back here. It was good, right? Well, that's the best recommendation.
Yeah, just for the mushroom soup.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and they have carniolan sausage with sauerkraut and cracklings and all kinds of Slovenian pastries. So that's another recommendation, and then I'm finished. Okay, no more recommendations.
We're running out of days to eat. So we don't have enough days.
That's right.
If they have some concerts, because sometimes they do. Just that you know, this is the Cathedral of Ljubljana. The official name is the Church of Saint Nicholas, and this door, and there is another one around the corner, were placed here when John Pope II in 1996 visited Ljubljana, and this is a piece of art, I mean, 3D bronze door. And now I'm gonna ask if they have some concerts. Fresh raw cow milk. We call it a machine because every morning the milk is taken from nearby farms, brought here on daily basis, left inside. Then we call it machine because if you don't have a bottle on you, you would just place 30 cents inside, the bottle would pop up, and then you would take the bottle, and then according to how much milk you want to. But this price is 50 cents for half a liter or euro for a liter. For me, it's a bargain. It's completely non-pasteurized milk. It's like being on a farm, you know. And then once you fill it, it's so good that when the first time when they installed this machine here, locals start saying there's actually a living cow inside, but there isn't any. It's actually, the milk is so fresh in that way.
I think that is
Yeah, because in cheese with dry fruits. And Plecnik also, he built this covered market during the Second World War. You know, it was a wartime. He also wanted to build this butcher's bridge, which is right in front of us. But because of lack of funds, it was a wartime, he never gathered enough money to build it. So we finally got it in 2010, but with the modern butcher's bridge, we also got these statues. This one this is complete contemporary art, and this one is named, the official title is Adam and Eve, banned from the Garden of Eden. As you can see, they're crying and they're desperate. But here on the right hand side there is one bar and another bar over there, and when locals, when they're enjoying their beer and they have plenty of time on their hands, they start inventing stories. And they invented a story for this one, which goes like that. Yes, Adam and Eve are completely desperate and they're ashamed and they're crying because of what have they done, because they ate the forbidden fruit. But look at which directions they're heading for, towards the open air markets to have another apple. That's there are two dragons more. That's a dragon's bridge. So dragon is officially a symbol of Ljubljana. Do you know how these door locks work?
Yeah,
But here in Ghana there is also a twist. Usually you would come with your loved one and you would love lock together, take the key of your love lock in your hand and throw it over your shoulder into the river. So the key to your love would get lost in the mud on the bottom of the river, so nobody could unlock your love lock. But here in Ljubljana there is a twist, because there are some smart guys who just from the start they come and use the combination lock. But that's so lame. I mean, come on.
Very cute. I always thought it's cheaper than a ring. Buying a ring.
Watch out for bike. Oh, here, of course.
Talk about bike.
Here we actually invented the term, careful, you're gonna get biked.
In a t-shirt like that.
Right now? Okay, tour in 5 minutes, so as you wish. See you tomorrow morning, 8:40.
All right. Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Have you seen that sign? The children will be given a free tequila at the party. Yeah, because they're our biggest treasure, you know. You're not gonna leave them alone. Those half-a-gallon American scorpions. It's really strong. I mean, watch out. I mean, if you're not used to it, then order American one, because we said they're strong enough to wake up the dead ones. And really,
So what would it go to really cost, or this price?
a little bit of window shopping. They serve all kinds of gelato, and the cakes are just to die for. And if you decide to come here, if you see that the ground floor is completely full, don't go outside, but continue in the back. There is a staircase which leads you to the second floor. Yeah, and because majority of people who don't know that, they just leave. You know? Yeah.
Do they have king cakes there? Do they serve in Lake lead?
It was a poet from 19th century. At that time, we were under Austro-Hungarian Empire, and they were saying that the Slovenian language is a peasant's language and that you cannot write nothing beautiful in it. This guy proved them wrong. He wrote a lot of beautiful poems, also because of his muse. She lived. Do you see that yellow building? And on the second floor, there is on the second floor there is a bronze statue, and the lady's at the window. Do you see it over there? Her name was Julia Plecnik, but in 19th century she actually lived in that house. To live in that house in 19th century meant
Sound on this?
you were really wealthy. And Franце Prešeren was just a lawyer, not really rich. So she never wanted to be with him. So because of that unfulfilled love, he wrote a lot of really beautiful poems, and eventually he published the book. And in that book there is a poem, A Toast, and 7 stanza from that poem is taken for our national anthem, and it is actually a toast. We don't sing it, we recite it only in the moments with our friends when we have a drink. Maybe on Friday when we have a Slovenian wine at lunch, we will do that. But the whole point, it's actually one of the most pacifist national anthems in the world, because it's toasting. But listen to this, it's not toasting just to Slovenians, it's actually toasting to all other nations who wants to live in peace and harmony with the others. Isn't that beautiful? So with that beautiful and positive thought, live in peace and harmony with the others, I would like to conclude our city tour and enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.